Yeah, nah, he nice as hell, but you know, I'm at the point of my career, the money right, I'll fight anybody. So
I can retire right now and be in the Hall of Fame. He couldn't. You know, like everything that I've accomplished, he's still trying to accomplish. You know,
Do you not think Spence will be in the Hall of Fame?
right now, no, how?
Yeah, he's
And that-
right,
he-
dude. He's right.
How? You know,
You would
like
be-
he fought in one division. You know,
Never unified the belts.
He unified.
Errol Spence Jr. has now responded to Terence Crawford's recent claim that their potential rematch would be an easy money fight. The two rivals have been engaged in a heated back and forth ever since Crawford made a controversial statement about Spence's Hall of Fame status. Following Crawford's remark, controversy quickly erupted, sparking a wave of responses from boxing professionals. While some troll Crawford, others directly addressed his claims, correcting what they saw as a flawed statement. Additionally, many critics pointed out that Crawford's resume wasn't exactly impressive either.
Unified,
Did unify?
you know,
IBF.
he unified.
Was it?
He had three. He had the
Yeah, but he didn't
WBC,
unify all four. He
WBA,
wasn't
IBF.
undisputed.
Huh?
He
No,
wasn't
no,
undisputed.
he wasn't. No, but what I'm saying is, they already called him a weight bully, right? He beat Kell Brook coming off of a loss, an eye injury. You know, he beat Sean Porter.
In all fairness, he had to go over there to get that.
Taking matters into his own hands, Errol Spence called out Terence Crawford and challenged him to a rematch. Only time will tell what the future holds for these two fighters. Crawford, boxing's first two-division undisputed male champion, recently stated, "I honestly don't know if he makes it to Hall of Fame with the accolades he didn't get right now." Those words were directed at Spence, the very fighter who made Crawford's second undisputed title possible. Unsurprisingly, Crawford's comments sparked a heated debate on social media, with many fans and analysts pushing back against his perspective. They argue that Spence's accomplishments are more than enough to secure a spot in the Hall of Fame.
Said, you know what I mean? That's a good win. Like, I don't want to sound like I'm hating on him or, you know,
I understand.
things like that, but I honestly don't know if he make it to the Hall of Fame with the accolades that he didn't got, right?
While Crawford may have a different perspective, the real question is whether Spence truly falls short of Hall of Fame recognition. Since his loss to Crawford, Spence has remained inactive due to injuries, further delaying his return and fueling speculation about a potential retirement. A possible fight with Sebastian Fundora briefly sparked hope, but ultimately fell through. So, let's break down why Crawford's assessment might be flawed. To his credit, Crawford clarified that his views on Spence aren't motivated by personal animosity. In fact, he expressed admiration for Spence, saying, "I'm a Spence fan. When we build up, I'm like, man, hey, let me get your autograph," Crawford explained.
Obviously, you're a guy that always wanted to like fight the best people out there. You know, even if you're on a layup, always want to fight the best guys. We got a guy in Jerron Ennis right now who's killing everybody. You know, Floyd is praising him, Roy Jones, everybody really. Like, would a part of you, and not looking past Terrence, but would a part of you be like, yo, this kid is good, I gotta fight this kid.
However, Crawford argued that once they became competitors in the same division, people began downplaying his accomplishments to elevate Spence's. He rejected this narrative, insisting that his own resume is Hall of Fame worthy, while Spence is still working towards reaching that level. However, Crawford argued that once they became competitors in the same division, people began downplaying his accomplishments to elevate Spence's. He rejected this narrative, insisting that his own resume is Hall of Fame worthy, while Spence is still working towards reaching that level. Crawford's first point against Spence was that he has only fought in one weight division and was never undisputed. While there's truth to this argument, it overlooks Spence's background. Spence competed as a welterweight throughout his amateur career, excelling in the Golden Gloves and World Championships before turning pro. Expecting him to debut in a different weight class wouldn't have made much sense.
I'm walking over my feet. You know, I want to get out the game. I got kids, got a mom and dad, and you know, they want to enjoy me. So.
Once Spence entered the pro ranks, he remained undefeated for 5 years before claiming his first world title in 2017 by defeating Kell Brook on his home turf in Sheffield, England. That victory marked the start of a dominant reign, during which he outclassed elite opponents like Mikey Garcia, Sean Porter, Danny Garcia, and Eudenis Ugas, an Olympic bronze medalist. Spence went on to become a unified champion. What many seem to overlook is that Spence achieved these milestones while overcoming significant adversity, including multiple car accidents, one which occurred just months before facing Crawford. Ugas, who suffered severe eye swelling during his fight with Spence, defended Spence against Crawford's remarks, pointing out that Spence essentially came back from death and eye surgery to become a 3-time champion.
Everything got to come to the end, and sadly, this definitely got to come to the end. So I'm definitely gonna get out while I still can, and not either be forced out or I have to keep fighting because I need money.
Add one more belt though.
He probably won't let Jose Benavidez. So what do you think it said?
Well, what is Terence's best victory for you?
Probably Yampo.
Why do you say that?
Because I can't thank anybody else.
did you say Postal? Was it Postal? No. Recently, was there?
Crawford also downplayed Spence's championship status, arguing that while Spence unified titles, he never became undisputed. He further suggested that Spence's win over Brook was less impressive because Brook was coming off an eye injury and a loss. While undisputed status is undeniably a remarkable achievement, it was Spence's dominance that made Crawford's undisputed title possible. If Spence had only held one belt instead of multiple, would Crawford have even pursued the fight? It was Spence's reign that elevated their showdown into one of boxing's greatest modern clashes.
Is there ever a possibility where you would rematch Errol Spence? Or is he in a position where he needs to win again before that makes sense for you?
The possibility is there.
Regarding Brook's condition, it's important to note that he moved up to fight Gennady Golovkin at middleweight before dropping back down to welterweight to face Spence just 8 months later. Brook knew exactly what he was getting into. Later, he went on to win the WBC Silver Light middleweight title. Crawford's final point seems to suggest that Spence didn't take on the best competition, but the reality is that Spence fought the top challengers available in the welterweight division. Yes, Crawford moved across multiple weight classes, but in doing so, he also avoided certain divisional threats.
For his title, I'm fighting for a title, and there's a possibility. He win his fight, God willing. I win my fight, God willing, and there's a possibility right there.
For instance, Crawford never fought Jermall Charlo at welterweight, and potential bout with Virgil Ortiz Jr. remains purely hypothetical. WBC lightweight champion Shakur Stevenson and two-weight undisputed champion Terence Crawford have been longtime friends, often seen supporting each other both inside and outside the ring. However, there's one thing these brothers from different mothers can't seem to agree on: the whole Errol Spence Jr. Hall of Fame drama. The controversy was sparked a few days ago when Crawford appeared on the Pound for Pound podcast with Kamaru Usman and Henry Cejudo. During the conversation, he made some controversial remarks about his former rival, Errol Spence Jr. According to Crawford, Spence doesn't stand a chance of being inducted into the Boxing Hall of Fame. Crawford pointed to the accolades he himself currently possesses as evidence of why he believes Spence falls short.
Terence went on Pound for Pound podcast and he said that Errol Spence will not be a Hall of Famer. Can you just give me your thoughts on that? Do you disagree? Why do you disagree?
I feel as though Errol had a great career. If it wasn't for Bud, he would have been undisputed. So he went and got every belt one by one by one. I think he's a Hall of Famer.
The question was about Terence Crawford and his comments.
Yeah.
About Errol Spence.
Yeah, about the Hall of Fame comment.
Well, that's. I mean, look, that's his opinion.
Yeah,
that's how he feels, and that's.
What do you think?
No, I think the opposite. I think the opposite.
Okay.
I came out and I've said
I don't
that.
want to fall.
I came out and I've said that Errol Spence is a Hall of Famer. You know, in my eyes, you know what I mean? It doesn't matter one division, whatever. 6 years he was reigning, right? Never ducked the big smoke. Finally got in the ring with Crawford. Crawford did what he did. However, the build up to get to that fight, everything that he did, all the fighters that he faced.
Crawford justified his claims by suggesting that Spence only fought in one division. While he acknowledged Spence's accomplishments, including unifying the IBF, WBC, and WBA welterweight belts and his victories over top fighters in the division, Crawford argued that it still wasn't enough to secure a spot in the Boxing Hall of Fame. The two fighters faced off on July 29, 2023, with Crawford dominating Spence to become the undisputed welterweight champion. Nonetheless, Crawford's comments sparked a whirlwind of backlash on social media, with fans and boxing experts coming together to oppose his statement and reinforce Spence's case for the Hall of Fame. While Spence Jr. has yet to respond, Shakur Stevenson has weighed in on whether he believes Spence deserves a spot.
And he beat along the way for 6+ years, and then to come back, have that car accident, and then come back and fight. I think, who was it, Danny Garcia? Who did he fight when he first came back? Was it Garcia he fought?
Yeah.
He fought Danny Garcia. I mean, come on, Ugas, come on, dog. Like, yeah, for me, that's Hall of Fame material. However, I'm not the one to pick the Hall of Fame, if you rather go or not. That's not me, but I'm just saying from my standpoint, and not recognizing the game and seeing all the ones that got it, seeing the ones that got into the Hall of Fame, you know, others that got into the Hall of Fame, and I feel they have done less, I say that, hey, Errol.
When reminded of Crawford's comments during a recent interview with Best Women's Boxing Show, Shakur Stevenson responded, "I disagree." He elaborated on his viewpoint, stating, "I feel like Errol had a great career. If it wasn't for Bud, he would have been undisputed. He went and got every belt one by one, and I think is a Hall of Famer." Putting the Hall of Fame drama aside, fans might soon see Errol Spence Jr. return to the ring. Oscar de la Hoya believes Virgil Ortiz Jr. is ready for a major step up in his career and wants Spence to fight him. Ortiz, who remains undefeated, has shown his ability at the highest level, most recently defeating Sergey Bohachuk and Israel Madrimov. De La Hoya sees a bright future for Ortiz, stating, "There are a lot of options out there for Virgil, and I'm excited." That's all for now. For the latest updates on news, moments, events, and action in the world of boxing, stay connected by subscribing to our YouTube channel. Don't forget to turn on notifications so you'll be alerted when we drop quality content like this.